Vietnam was also suffered from communist rule for decades. Many Vietnamese came to Australia just to escape the horror communists brought to them. Let's welcome Tan Nguyen, Secretary of Human Rights Relief Foundation and former President of Vietnamese community in New South Wales.
Thank you for that introduction, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure for me to have an opportunity to attend the rally today and to share a few thoughts with you. As the MC introduced, I originally came from Vietnam, which is one of the last 4 remaining communist countries. Communism was probably the greatest crime against humanity. There's more than 100 million victims died because of communism. So I'm not surprised that these sort of things are happening in China. The speakers before were talking about the figures between 60,000 or 100,000 cases of organ harvesting. The Chinese authorities said it's only 10,000. It doesn't really matter whether it's 10,000 or 100,000. The fact that these sort of things are happening at all is a blight, is a great shame, not on just the government of China, the communist regime of China, but I would say on us all, on humanity, the whole world. Recently, there have been stories of witnesses coming forward to the media talking about their personal experiences and how they were tortured, imprisoned, simply because they practiced Falun Gong. Now, if this sort of thing was happening in any other country, there would have been international outrage, there would have been sanctions, there would have been talks of setting up International Criminal Court of Justice to investigate and prosecute those who torture prisoners of conscience, torture people who are arrested in a prison because of their religious beliefs, and then kill them and get their organs for transplant purposes. But it's not happening. And why it's not happening? It's not happening because China is a country that has the biggest population on earth, 1.4 billion. It's a member of the United Nations Security Council. It's the second biggest world economy. But more than that, from our perspectives, China is Australia's biggest trading partner. And we have been blinded by trade and money. And so in this horrendous crime, which is, I think, is the greatest crime of the 21st century, it is not just the communist regime of China who is the perpetrator, but we are all complicit in it because we're just too scared to speak up. We have allowed our moral principles to be bought and sold. There has been recent media stories of our political parties, mainstream political parties, received donations from China, millions of dollars. And our political leaders, a particular senator that we all know who I'm talking about, apparently for $1,600, forgot about ethics, forgot about what is plainly right and plainly wrong when accepting donation in the course of carrying out our politicians' duty. I am heartened by developments in the United States and in Europe because recently the United States Congress have passed a motion expressing serious concern about this issue, and before that the European Parliament has done the same. It's time for the Australian government and Australian people to stand up and regain our conscience. We cannot just simply turn a blind eye just because there's too much money involved. So we should just ignore it. We should just, China is too big an economy for us to upset China. If we are to be a good friend of any country or its people, then it is our duty to express our thoughts in a sincere manner. And this sort of things is just simply not acceptable. Even animals Even animals respect their dead. So if we are human beings, we are proud to be on the top of the food chain, and we tolerate the desecration of the dead. Where does that put us in the scale of things? And so I applaud the efforts of Falun Gong movement to raise this issue. And I'm not that happy that there's still lack of concern about this matter among our wider community. And it should be an issue that should concern all of us, because if we don't stand up for victims of injustices, who will stand up for us when we are the victims? Thank you very much.